So these are the icing sheets. The printer that I have is actually a very old printer. I got this printer back in 2019, 20, yeah, 2021, 21, I'm sorry. And it is the TS6320. So it's the blue printer that Icing Images had back then. They no longer sell it, but it is still kicking. It is still working perfectly fine, and I love that for me. So these are the images, some of the images that I printed out. They are very vibrant and, full of color and everything like that. No streaking, no anything like that. So that is what we will be working with today. I have used some of the other sheets, the flex scroll sheets. I've used those as well. I use those for like movement and things like that. I did want a cake that I used to make like a dress, like a skirt, and I use that to make the movement in the skirt. So yes.
Awesome. All right, well, take it away, girl. It's all you.
Okay, so we're doing the cake now.
You are
All
you are
right.
full blast. Go for it.
Okay. So firstly, let me go grab the cake. Okay. And get my images organized and put to the side. I already pre-prepped my colors and everything like that, so I don't have to bore you guys with that, with coloring and all of that good stuff. So, like I said, the wrap cakes are more of an easier version of a cake to do simply because you can just put the images onto the cake and you can have like a design, a nice design to the cake, right? It's not writing to it. We're going to finish it obviously with a border to make everything seamless, to make everything cohesive. And then I do have some edible markers and we can come up with something to write together because it's back to school, right? So we can write like A plus, you know, welcome back, just anything if you want to, make it personable. You also could do the same thing for graduations, right? And you could possibly do like a graduation cap or something like that. It's really like an endless thing. And so, like I was saying before, it can be, you can find any images that you would like to use, whether you are printing the face of a graduate or the child that that you're making said cake for. But we're going to go with primary colors because I have two boys. So we're going to just go with primary colors, the red, blue, yellow, and greens. And yeah, let me go ahead and get the cake out the fridge.
She's got real cake she's decorating tonight. Her husband is going to be loving it, or her kids. And remember,
Okay.
guys, if you have questions, go ahead and ask, and I'll interrupt her rudely and ask.
Okay. So this is my big baby. This is the cake I've already crumb coated and all of those good things. So again, the only downside I would say to doing a wrap cake is that you do need to use a lot of sheets. A lot of sheets will be you need it to be used to be able to cover the cake, right? To give that seamless look. Me personally, you can, like I said, you can do the cake several ways. Some people use fondant to apply to the back of the sheet to apply to the cake, right? To prevent bubbling, to prevent condensation, because the sheets do bubble. They do bubble, but for this purpose of it just being a content cake, it's fine. But if it was for a customer, I absolutely would use fondant. Um, but as we see, the sheet is a little bit bigger than the cake, the height of the cake. So we have to cut that down, right? Or if you don't want to cut it down, as we apply it to the cake, we simply cut strips. We would cut the strips and we would just lay it flat to the
Okay,
cake.
can you do me a favor? Hold on one second. We
Mhm.
we can't see your hands. We need to flip that camera down a little bit
Okay.
so we can see your hands.
Ooh,
There, okay, keep going down a little more because we need to see we're seeing the top of the cake right now. And there
is
you
this
go.
better?
Perfect. Yep, that's perfect. You're good.
Oh, all right. Okay. So, like I was saying, so the icing sheet is taller than the actual height of the cake. So typically, if like I said, if I was doing this for a customer, I would back this on fondant. It could be the thinnest sheet of fondant, and then you would apply it to the cake, and then you would apply it to the image, and then wrap the cake with the images to prevent bubbling as transit condensation. I don't know about you guys, but it is hot, okay? And we don't want that, right? So, but for the purposes of this content cake, we're not going to do that today. But, because fondant is expensive, okay? So we're not going to do that. Also, I find that using edible glue, I do not prefer using edible glue. My personal preference, I know everybody has their preferences with what they, you know, like to use and not use. I prefer Crisco mainly because it is more forgiving and it creates that barrier, right? It's forgiving. Whereas edible glue, it kind of does set in, and it also it's like it's moisture, right? If you know edible sheets, they are very sensitive. They're very sensitive, and any type of moisture, it will cause the images to start to bleed, and it really just ruins the whole design, and we do not want that. So,
So Candice, can you move the camera over a little bit again? We're seeing your refrigerator and half of your cake.
oh,
There we go.
can you
There
see?
you go. Yeah,
Is this,
and
let's
then
see,
just kind of tilt it down just a little more for me. It's centered now, so let's go ahead and just tilt it down a little bit so we can see the
down
whole cake.
more?
There we go. It keeps wanting to move
Okay,
over.
right, because now it's moving on its own. Okay. Is this okay? Because now my
Yeah,
phone is moving.
that's what's
It's like it's
happening. The phone
moving.
keeps moving.
Maybe I got to tighten it. Isaiah, you help me tighten
Yeah,
it?
there you go. So the nice thing, so everybody has their preference of adhering um, the images. The nice thing about Crisco is that it lets you slide the image around before it adheres. Um, Edible glues do vary. When you have a good quality edible glue and you don't use too much of it,
Mm-hmm.
it actually will work really well. All right,
Okay.
now let's
Okay.
see. So
So
now we need to,
we're just
can
gonna
we,
smooth this out.
actually, I'm going to leave it right there. We can't see the top of the cake.
You
Um,
said you can't?
no, like very, just a little bit of the edge. There you go. Oh,
Okay. We working with it. It's moving. Is everything okay now?
yeah, yeah, you're not centered, but it's okay. We can see everything. So,
Center. Is
and
it?
we
Should I
do have
move
a
left
question.
or right?
Hold on one second. Um, how did you make the cake so tall? Many layers, right?
I know. Yeah, a lot of layers. A lot of layers. I personally like tall cakes. I feel like if I'm gonna charge people what I charge them, they should get a lot of cake. So yeah, a lot of cake. A lot of cake. So my cake's very, they will feed a lot of people for sure. Okay. So typically, so back to the cake. So here we go. We're going to take the image. We're going to take it off of the backing. We're going to take it off of the backing and we're going to apply it, right? We're going to just apply it and we're going to smooth it on. So like I was saying, going to smooth it on. You really don't need like a fondant tool or anything like that, right? Gonna leave that there. Now for this cake, I printed off 5 sheets. Fingers crossed, this is enough. Should be, but and we're just going to simply line it up. Can you guys see what I'm doing? And just line it up.
It's moving over again slowly.
Is that better?
Yeah, you're kind of very far to your right, our
Very far
left.
to me.
So you want to move the camera away from the frosting. There we go. Okay,
Is that
okay,
better?
yes, we got it. Woohoo!
Okay. I had to move it back. I thought I had to move it forward so you guys could see a little bit better. So we want to just move. And again, I didn't say this. Clean hands, clean hands. Okay. Clean hands, clean hands. Okay. So we're just going to smooth it on and we're going to make sure that this line is seamless with the previous image. Peel the backing off and then we're going to move to the next side. Line it up. Make sure it's lined up well. And then we're going to smooth it, smooth it, smooth it. Take another one. And we're going to do the same thing. All right. So I guess I was right on the money. 5 sheets. 5 sheets. And then we're going to take the last one and we are going to smooth it as well. So for the bottom of this cake, we will be, using icing to make a nice border on top, right? So I have some scissors, and we're going to cut slits down each one. I mean, down the top of each image so that it can lay seamlessly against the cake, right? So we'll fix the bottom in a moment, but this is like the first little part. And I like these cakes because it's kind of quick, Like I say, like I said in my intro, well, not in my intro, but I typically put music on, I just am in my zone and I just get it done, I get to it. And yeah, get to it.
So what are you doing now? We can't see what you're doing. I can see you're cutting something.
Yes, also I'm cutting the top of the top pieces of the leftover, the hangover of the edible image. Can you see? Because I can't see. So it's sideways. So I'm working with what I'm
It's
it's
okay.
sideways.
Okay.
But yes, I'm cutting strips on the top of the edible images so that it can lay seamless to the cake, to the top of the cake. Because we will be placing another image on top.
Gotcha.
So you could just, fit it and cut it, to the height of whatever cake. But this is easy as well. It's not hard to do. So we'll take it and we're just simply folding it over. We're just taking it, folding it over so we can get a nice crisp edge, right? Nice crisp edge, right? Can everybody see that?
Mm-hmm. We're going good.
Nice crisp edge. And then we're pushing it up. So pretty much the slits just help it to lay better because if it just stayed as one sheet, it would crack. So we might as well just help it without it cracking the rest of the image. So that's why I did that.
Okay. And Jill had asked a question
Yes,
um, about putting it on fondant
yes,
or not, and you can do whatever you want. Some people like to put it on fondant. Some people like to adhere it directly to the cake, whether it's
yes,
buttercream, whipped, whatever.
yes.
It's just kind of a preference.
Yeah, so like I was saying earlier, me personally, if this was for a customer, in my experience, I prefer to use fondant for customers, especially in this heat, because you don't want it to bubble. But because this is just a content cake and it's just something that we're doing together, it's no need. It's not, my house is pretty cool, so it's okay. Um, and then the condensation of the cake will help, keep the images together. So I don't really need the Crisco. I don't need any edible glue or anything like that. So, so we're just, trying to make sure everything fits nicely. They have a nice edge. So it's coming along, right? It's coming along nice and flat. Just take your time so that it doesn't, rip or crack to the bottom of the images. And again, sometimes with these cakes, I do fit it. Like I know for heart cakes, I do fit it. For heart cakes, I never do this. I never cut like strips or anything like that. I actually do cut the panels, mainly because it's not, my heart cakes are never this tall. Like they're tall, but they're not this tall. Um, but yeah, so am I still in frame? Can you guys still see me?
Yeah, you're off. Just wait. Hold on. Yeah, I'm on the right screen. Sorry. You're off a little bit to the side, but we can see you. There you go.
Okay.
Now
I
you're
guess
off
I
again.
gotta move.
It's okay, it'll move.
Okay, I'm trying. Okay, so getting it nice and seamless. And sometimes you might, the strips you cut, you might have to cut a little bit more just to make it lay down flat. Just to make it lay down flat. And then we are doing it. And this is the last panel. And everything nice and flat. And then we just go through and just make sure everything is seamless, right? So we go through and we push. We're just gonna push the images against the cake so that the condensation, the coolness of the cake will get onto the image, right? Without it bleeding onto the image, right? So for this cake, I had also printed a top layer, right? I printed a top layer. So the good thing about, the wrap cakes, when you wrap the entire cake, is that you do not necessarily have like a front or a back. You can really just make the front or the back. It really doesn't matter because everything is the same, right? So, um, we will take the backing off of this one. And then pretty much after this, everything is just decorating, Everything is pretty much decorating and you have your free reign to do as you please with the decorating portion. Again, I don't know if you guys want to help me out with the colors that we should use. I have green. What is it? Can you guys see the color? I have
All
green,
right.
red, blue, and yellow. I already prepped, so you guys don't have to be bored with me um, making colors. Um, let's see.
There's
And
some
then,
big bags.
huh?
Those are some big icing bags.
They are. I like using the bigger of the icing bags because I feel like I can fit more icing and I don't have to keep refilling it.
Yeah.
So pretty much this is the basis of the cake, right? We are wrapped. It's wrapped. And now everything else, and another thing with these type of cakes, you can cover up any imperfections that you see. A lot of people, when they do these cakes, for example, like the heart cakes, right? And you see like where the seams meet, and you see like the icing going up the middle of the heart, right? That is because that's where the two images meet, right? Or it might not be enough images, and so that's why you see all the icing. That's kind of like a baker's trick, right? That's what people do typically so they don't have to use more images, purchase more images because these things are kind of costly. But we
So are
have
those
a lot,
bags of butter? Are those bags of
huh?
buttercream you had over there?
Yes,
Okay. And you're
yes,
using the icing sheets right now.
yes.
Okay,
So
great.
so again, I printed off all of these extra images. I don't know if you guys saw what I printed off, but we have all of these extra little fun back to school items, right? And as we go ahead and put our icing on, then we can start to fixate these different decorations around the cake. So we could possibly hide, different things that we might not like, on the cake if, that was a thing, right? The seams or what have you. So
Those
for
are
this cake,
adorable.
I'm thinking I would like to do red for the bottom here. I like to do border for my cake. I know people, every baker is different. Everybody is different with the things that they like to do. But I like a good buttercream border. I just think it finishes a cake. Some people don't like borders. I do, you know, and that's it. So there we go. So another thing that I do, um, when I start doing my borders for my cakes, I figure out where my front to my back is going to be, right? So I would start piping like on the side of the cake so that the end of the piping will end in the back, not in the front, if that makes any sense. Does that make
Totally,
sense?
totally
So,
makes sense.
okay. So we're just going to do a simple shell border. Just gonna do a simple shell border. Nothing crazy. Simple shell border. I know you guys probably can't see me
Yeah, no, you're
doing
behind it. Everybody knows like that you're doing a
how to do
shell.
a
We can,
shell border.
yeah.
Simple shell border. Okay.
Is that an 8-inch cake that you're using?
Yes, these are 8-inch cake layers. Yes. So this is about four tiers, 4 cake layers. Yes. 4 layers of cake. And then for the top, it's the, the green, the blue, the yellow. So let's see. Like, do we want to do shells at the top or do we want to do dollops at the top? I think dollops would be kind of fun, different to do. Um, yeah, I think dollops would be kind of fun, like to alternate the colors, maybe.
Yep.
I guess I could have did that at the bottom too.
I
But
love the bright colors.
yeah, took a long time to learn how to do that without it being nasty, okay? A long time. Because that's like the worst thing, right? You get what is it called? Some icing for your cake and it's like bitter and just not right. So we're
Yeah.
gonna start off with blue and I'm gonna
Do,
do just a little swirl. Just
do
a
you know
swirl.
tip you use to get the shell border?
So the shell board, I think that was the 848 Wilton. And then for these three, the green, the blue, and the yellow, these are a Wilton 1M. So now we have the green. I'm gonna do that. Kind of would like the red up there too, but it's okay. And then this is pretty much that. And then you just pretty much alternate. But it's like this is so, versatile. You can really just do whatever it is that you want. But with this, right, you are covering the seam. You're covering the seam from where you folded the top image, as well as this round 8-inch image.
Gotcha. And
Yeah.
what brand of coloring are you using?
Um, I branch over everything. I use color mill. I like using what is it, Sunny Side from Hobby Lobby. I don't know if
Hmm.
they have Hobby Lobbies everywhere, but yeah. Hobby Lobby, color mill. Um, what's the other one I just used for this yellow? I have to tell you the name of it. You want me to go tell you? I have to get the bottle so I can tell you the exact
Oh,
name
that's
because I
okay.
can't think
That's
think of
okay.
the
You
name.
just jump around colors till you find the one you like. Hmm.
Yep, pretty much. I don't know again because I know some people they don't have Hobby Lobbies everywhere, but Hobby Lobby that's the red, and I their red, love their red because it's so vibrant, so vibrant. Green,
I
yellow.
love those big mounds of icing.
I don't think I spaced that right.
Yeah, we got to
Gold.
get you turned on to the Simi Color Splash that's on our site. It's sold by
Okay.
Simi. It's a liquid color.
Okay.
It's highly or deeply pigmented, so you get some amazing color work from it.
Okay.
When Sydney,
Yeah, I haven't tried.
yeah, Sydney's on and she can tell us more about it. I'll grab the link while she'll type it in here.
Okay, yeah, I haven't tried that yet. And
Oh
so
my
we
gosh.
have all of these images that I printed off. I know you guys can't see them over there, but I have all of these different like school images. I have calculators, I have pencils, I have all kind of things, right? So we're just gonna take these images and we're gonna scatter them alongside let me push it back. We're gonna scatter it alongside the paper, like the pages, right? School theme, right? So even with this can cover up the seams, the seams. Um, so that is what we're gonna do. Take the backing off. You can use just a dab, of icing. You see, just a dab of icing to hold it in place. Just a dab. Just a dab, right? Just a dab. Nothing crazy. Have a pencil. I'm trying to look. Yep, just a pencil. Pencil. And we're gonna post this on there. Boop, boop, boop. And you just scatter it. And you just, put it on there, whichever ways that you want to. Really. You just put it on there and decorate it however you see fit. However it is that you see fit. And I think this is so cute. But like, some people have parties for everything, right? And this could be a cute little back to school cake or something. Cool theme. But yeah, we're just pretty much trying to cover up the seams, if you will. And that is pretty much it. But this is what I was saying, like it's pretty much like an easier version of a cake, right? Versus I think I want this one to be right here in the middle because it says school, right? It says school. And that's in the front of the cake, the little chalkboard. But I have so many images. And then we can even put some up top. So we have like a little book. So put the little book up here. Put the book up there. We have like a little, what is it? I'm trying to, because it's still sideways. It's tripping
Oh,
me
it's a
out.
cute book.
Little, what is this? Paint. Paint. The little clock because the kids need the clock to wake up in the morning, right?
Yeah,
Need
they
the
need
clock to,
their moms to
look,
wake
and
up
you
in the
need
morning.
the clock to wake up in the morning. A notebook, put a little accent up there. Apple, I thought that was so cute. Thought that was so cute. I got the little apple. But you can really put as much or as little as you choose to, you know. But again, like I said, I have printed off I'm not printed off. I have like the edible markers. And if you wanted to write like a message or something like that, you could.
Yeah.
You could. Really could.
So Jill wants to know if when you cut the cake, do the sheets cut easily or do they kind of pull off the cake?
I find that they cut pretty easily. I've never had issues, cutting with the sheets.
And if you're
Yeah, I haven't
having
had.
it, you probably need just a little more moisture in whatever you're putting the paper on so it melts in better. And she's using the Icing Images edible paper. I'll put a link up there too.
Yeah, the icing sheets. Yeah, I haven't had any issues with that. And actually, my children, they actually quite like eating this stuff actually. And if I have scraps, from like cutting the excess off, here we are so far, just placing the images that I printed off and just seeing, where I want to place them, right? School thing, just seeing where I want to place things. But yeah, my kids, they actually like eating it because it tastes like vanilla. It melts. So it's nothing, not nasty, but
No,
yeah,
has a little sweetness to it.
yeah, it has a little sweetness to it. And yeah, we're gonna put this little globe. I think that's cute. But yeah,
So,
when I like I
oh, sorry. Kelly said that it would seem that the thin sheets would work well too. Um, and they would. We have a thinner sheet. That's a preference, and depending on how bad the humidity is, it can be a plus or a minus. And Shasha
mhm,
wants to know how many layers that you have on that cake.
four, four,
4 layers.
4 layers, 4 big old layers of 8-inch cake.
So
Four.
And then something you can do if your seams are obvious, you can always, add a little icing there, and that would help as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you could, add the edible glue or what have you. You could do that
Hmm.
too. Um, it just really depends on what you want to do. Um,
Yeah.
because typically, like with a cake like this, I would have put this in the fridge by now, just to let it, firm back up, right? So typically, when I'm making cakes, just the humidity, just everything from it being out of the fridge, out of the freezer, it starts to sweat. As we know, that's like the most dreaded word. Making cakes, it starts to sweat, and we want to keep that firmness and keep that coldness to the cakes, right? So, but it's still out, but it's okay. But yeah,
Wonderful.
I'm pretty much just placing the images, just like just everywhere. 'Cause I printed out
Yeah.
two sheets, and I think it's coming along. Everything's school, right? You got your glue, you got your calculators, your books, all that good stuff that the kids have to get ready for. I don't know if your kids are, getting ready for school, but mines are starting back next month.
Yeah, it's already over almost. Summer's almost over.
Yes, it is. My boys are starting back next month, so they are getting ready for that. Getting ready for that. And as I'm doing is I'm finding images that I printed. I'm just adding them as I see them. Just adding them as I see them. We have a few more, and then that's it. And then this will be complete. And then we can add sprinkles. I gotta get some sprinkles. I gotta pick out some sprinkles. I like sprinkles on cakes too. I know some people don't prefer it. My husband doesn't like sprinkles. He doesn't like sprinkles, but I like a sprinkle. I think just adds something. Can you guys see it kind of well?
Yep. You can see
Okay.
it well.
So we wanted to take the edible markers. So I did buy a new pack of markers, the Wilton food markers, and you could just write on the sheets if you wanted to put like your child's name or just anything that you wanted to write. Um, and you could just write whatever you wanted to write if you chose to do that. And this is pretty much it. It didn't take too long,
No, not
but
at
even
all.
with the pressures of trying to do this on the spot, so yeah, that wasn't too bad.
Awesome. Now you have a little video clip for us, don't you, of how you get your images?
Yes.
Should we show it now? Are you ready for it?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, you sure? Because this is your hour, not mine. I just
Look,
sit here
yeah,
and ask.
that's perfectly fine. And I could put the cake back in the fridge for now. Yep. Am I
Yep,
going to
that
be
sounds.
off screen while you do that?
And then Stacy will go ahead and bring up the video that she created. It was done on her phone.
Mm-hmm.
How she it's videos using her phone. I mean, not videos, images using her phone, which we haven't really seen on our lives before. So I was kind of excited about that. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so
Should I
Stacy,
kind of explain that a little bit?
yeah, if you're sure, you want to explain it first, go ahead.
Okay, so I can't really show you guys my phone because I'm currently phone is kind of occupied at the moment. But pretty much, I use my phone. I know that Icing Images does have iPrint and different programs that I know that you can use. But I just, it's just not my it's just not my thing. So that was kind of one of the things that kind of deterred me when I got my printer, and I still was buying edible images because I'm like, this is just too much. I just can't do this. So pretty much I go and I look for images. You can go Google, I mean literally anywhere. You can screenshot an image, you can Pinterest, literally anything, right? And I print from my phone. I print from my phone. And I size everything from my phone. So I don't use a program. I don't use any type of special programs, anything like that. Um, yeah, and that's pretty much what I do. So the video, I tried to explain it as best I could, in the ways in which I do what I like, how I get my images and things. Pinterest is a good way to find images. Obviously Google, but Pinterest is a very good way to find images that you can download straight to your phone, and it puts it into a folder. So every image that you download, it will go into that folder. So if you have like several cakes that you have to do or several projects that you're working on with that thing, you can just keep them all in there, and they're there forever, right? Until you delete it, right? But yeah, that's pretty much how I get my images, and hopefully the video explains that.
Okay. And Stacy, you ready?
Everyone, Candice the Baker here. I just wanted to come on and show you all my process on personally going about trying to find images for my cake designs. So first and foremost, this is my family. This is my boys and my husband. So anywho, first and foremost is different ways that you can find images. As you know, Google obviously is our top pick, right? So you have Google, you have Pinterest, you have just different ways. You can see a picture, you can screenshot it. It's just different ways to do it. Me personally, I go about doing everything from my phone. I do not access a computer to do it. I just think it's just too much work and sizing and all of the things. So the first step that I do when it comes to getting edible images, or for the cakes that I am doing, I think about what it is that I'm doing. So for this cake that I'm about to be doing with you all on live, it will be a back to school themed cake. The vision that I have for this cake will be a lined cake. So if you're thinking back to school, we're thinking paper, I'm thinking colorful, I'm thinking books, I'm thinking of different things like that, things that make you think of school, crayons, pencils, globes, things of that nature. So then you have it like, which way are we gonna go? We're gonna go girly or more on the pinkish side, or we're gonna keep it more primary, like more primary colors, greens, blues, reds. So it's just different ways that you can take it, right? So first and foremost, I go to my app, I go to Pinterest. That's the first thing that I do. I go to search, and then I type in what I'm looking for. So the first thing that I will type in, right, is the paper, because we're going to line the cake. We're going to print off edible images of the paper. So we're going to click line paper. And as we see, we have multiple different ways that, different options that we have. We have crinkle paper if you want to go that route. We have some that has like pencils at the bottom. We have pink, like when I was saying, like you can do pink, or you can keep it just classic. There's different ways to do it. But I am thinking like this is nice. Like all of these are very nice, but we're going to keep it just basic for this, because we are going to use edible markers, and we're going to write little things. If you have kids, you want to do like a little something for your kids, like, hey, welcome back to school, and you can write a little message, whatever the case. So we're going to go and we're going to click this, and we're going to click download image. Boom. So that's the first step. Obviously, any of these you can click through, you can see what you like, don't like, and you can download these images. But it's just that simple. So then the next step in my vision that I have for this cake, I don't know if I want to do oranges and yellows. I don't know if I want to do reds or blues. Like I'm not sure yet, right? So we're gonna go and we're gonna type in. We're gonna go back and we're gonna type in like school clip art, school cartoon, school, and just to see what we see, because if we want it to be kitty, well, I want mine to be kitty. We can, do it anyway we will like, and just see what you like. It's really just a matter of seeing what it is you as the artist that you like. So we see all of these different pictures. Now, see, me personally, I like images that are everything on one page, because you can print this whole page and have a plethora of images, right? You have a plethora of images. You can print this one sheet out, do an 8x10, and you can cut it out, boom, and you have many images that you can use for your cake, right? Versus printing one image off at a time. So I love things like this one right here, that's already like this one right here, that's already cut out. Love that. Love that. Just all of these. Well, this takes you to Amazon. So we're not doing that. So you really just have to play around with it. But, so let's just say this one. I like this one. So I always just download stuff. Because sometimes, you see stuff, then you can't find it again. And then it's just like, okay, well, that's no good. So, yeah, so I like that. I do kind of like this, but you want things to be cohesive. You do want things to be cohesive. So, yeah, I did see this one. I did download this one earlier. I like this. We're going to download this one. And, yeah. And then the next step, I was thinking, oh, I do like this one. Let's download this one. And then we'll just go and see what we like, right? So then I was thinking I would like to download like something that says back to school. We can do that as like a banner, if you will, for the front of the cake, right? So let's go back to school and just see, and let's see what we see, right? So here we go. If your child is going to first grade, boom, you got a first grade back to school. That's what I was saying as far as like the pastels. This is pink. If you want to go more so along that side for maybe a little girl. And then this is more so like primary, like, just really basic, boy, girl, doesn't matter, right? So let's see, which one do I like best? There's so many different ones to choose from. Let's see, happy first day of school. This one is nice. So let's just, for the sake of the time, let's just download that one. And if we see something else, we can go back and download that, right? Okay. Okay. So for the vision that I have, I think this is enough. That we need for now. So then I will go to my gallery. I know I have a lot of photos. Bear with me. All right. And we go to pins. All right. We go to pins, and then we have all of the photos that we just downloaded. The back to school, this one, the lined paper, the crayons, all of these things, right? And then the happy first day of school. Okay, wonderful. So now the next thing we need to do is decide what size are we trying to print each page. What are we using it for? We would not want this page per se to be something small, right? Because we are individually cutting each of these items out to put alongside the cake, around the cake, right? To add to that school flair aesthetic, right? So we wouldn't want it to be small. So this is a page that we will print as big as it could be, which is an 8x10, right? So, which is an 8x10. Same for this one. Same for this one. Same for this one, because this is the sheet that we would have to actually, the line paper, we would print this one multiple times because it has to fit the top of the cake as well as the sides. So for this cake, I don't think I said that, but I am planning on doing a heart-shaped back to school cake, right? So I have to be able to have enough sheets to fit alongside the sides of the cake as well as the top to make everything fit, to be cohesive, to make everything look nice and tight. So we will print this as an 8x10. So for this one, I will go for myself, for my prints. For my printer, I will go to print, and my printer is the TS 6300. Press yes, and then this is where you have the settings at, right? So as we see, it's already in the 8x10 setting, paper size. So you can put whatever you want to do. So if you wanted to do something smaller, right? So like a 4x6 will be something small, like a small little band, well, like a small something that's fitting on the front of the cake. Something small, like I don't know, like, maybe like a character or something like that. Something small, a name maybe, right? 4x6, a 5x7, a 7x10 is a little bit smaller than an 8x10. a little bit shorter, but we're going with an 8x10. So you click the 8x10, and then we also have bordered and borderless. So borderless is when, as you see here, right, it is not, it's just all off the, I don't know if you can notice, but it is all off of the, how to explain, like it's not in the frame, if you will. That's how I will explain that. It's not in the frame. So then you go back and then you press bordered, right? And now it actually looks like a page. So for me personally, with my prints, depending on what it is, if I'm printing like collages and things like that, I could do borderless because it doesn't too much matter, because I'm trying to fill the whole page. But bordered images make things to be more cohesive. Now, unfortunately you're not really getting a whole print, but you can go in and you can go ahead and size it so that you can maximize on your sheet. Right? And then we can fit it like that as best we can to get as much as we can, and then we press OK. Sharpness on autofix, it's just what it is for my printer. Color, yes. And then I just always print on matte paper that it hasn't, affected me any. And then that's it. And then I just press print. And then that's pretty much it. And I go through that for all of my prints, and then follow me back for the decorating portion of the cake.